With Own Every Word, you can own every word in the metaverse.
Hammy Ground.
Dunkles. Oppo Time Snack.
And every word is a one of one. And do we have a roadmap and utility? You bet your ass. Have you read it all yet? Okay. Own Every Word. It's another NFT project.
How about I say hello, unmuted. Hey, everybody. Welcome to Own Every Word, the game show. The game show where our dedicated audience, the word heard, submits answers to fill in the blank questions, and our illustrious panel of comedians debate the answer, and whoever submitted the winning word earns an incredible NFT prize. I'm your host, Matt Harris, and have you ever noticed that we never actually show the cards? If you've never watched this show, of course you don't. However, if you do, you've probably noticed that. So that changes today with what's the Wizard's pick. The Wizard's pick is the Wizard's favorite card from last week's winners. Take a look.
Celery wank. Celery wank. You know that these are celery wank hors d'oeuvres. They taste mighty fine.
Absolutely. Just if I'm just gonna just kiss it out right there. Celery wank. So great that you'll have to tune in next time to get the rest of that. But we are going to meet our panel shortly. But first, let's throw caution to the wind and dive into round one. Now, every month we have a theme. And yes, it is October. So this month it's spooky pets. Yes. Spooky things are coming along with me. Now, we are collaborating with Spooky Pets NFTs all month, which means when a member of the Word Herd wins a round, they not only win an Own Every Word NFT, they also win a Spooky Pets NFT too. That's right. We're going 2 NFTs for the price of 1 for each winner. You're probably as excited as I am. So let's take a look at what our very scary scribes came up with for round 1. Count Dracula got demoted. Now you have to call him blank Dracula. Let's see what the Word Herd submitted. Count Dracula got demoted. Now you have to call him Lawnmower Dracula. County Dracula. Bulk Dracula. Scar Dracula. Staplers Dracula. Glare Dracula. Kitten Dracula. Toffee Dracula. Stable Dracula. And Citizenry Dracula. Word Herd, you never let me down. So let's go over to our panel and see what sticks out for you. I'm going to go ahead and start with you, Jordan Palmerville. What is the first thing that jumps out at you from what we have right here?
I think of Dracula as a national office, so County Dracula is absolutely a demotion. I got to say Scar Dracula also, because that feels like it's a hat on a hat horror movie title. You know, Scar Dracula. and then lastly, Stapler's Dracula. And that's because the Stapler's Dracula is the person who goes around the office and takes the staples out of your staplers.
Oh, right. Yeah, he's such a staple Dracula. Yeah.
There they go.
I like it. Makes me feel good inside. So let's jump on over to you, Sam Kimbrell, and see what's your first impressions out of here.
You know, what's sticking out, Matt, here is Lawnmower Dracula. I mean, at the end of the day, that's a tough gig for Dracula to have to do something in lawn mow in the middle of the day. Now, that's the thing, is he's not going to mow a lawn in the middle of the day. He's going to do it at night. He's going to ruin the sleep for a ton of neighbors. They're going to hate him. That's clearly a demotion. So that definitely sticks out for me personally. The other thing that sticks out to me personally as well, because I like being personal and I like saying the word personally, is the word toffee. I fucking hate toffee, and I think that is a major demotion to be called Toffee Dracula. Clearly one of the worst there. So I think toffee is clearly one of the worst answers. But I think overall, the very worst answer here, personally, I feel, is Stable Dracula. Dracula's whole thing is he likes staying up at night. He lives in a mansion. He does parties. He sucks on necks. He does things that are nuts. So calling him stable is a demotion. So final answer, stable.
Stable. All right.
Stable.
All right. Yeah. Because who wants to be what blood-sucking undead Nosferatu wants to be thought of as not being just plagued by mental illness? I'm with you.
Hey, when
All
was the
right.
show about my ex-wife, right, Matt? Jeez.
Hey-o.
Oh, he doesn't mean it. We're all still friends. Anyway, Phil Ranta, what are your first impressions?
Well, we've missed the two most obvious ones, in my opinion. First of all, if you're demoted, then you're joining the unwashed masses. And that, of course, is the citizenry, right? That's like when you're playing an MMORPG and like you start as like a townsfolk or a peasant before you level up, right? So citizenry is the obvious one. But my favorite one, because it feels like the ultimate demotion, is kitten. Because it feels like a pet name. So like if you like go into the president of the United States office and be like, oh, baby boy kitten butt or whatever, like it feels like the ultimate like insult, like it's diminutive. So I feel like the ultimate demotion is, of course, you have to call him Kitten Dracula.
You know what? I can get behind all of these first impressions. I like your take on citizenry now, because now I'm thinking of the RPG where it's literally, you're not going out and grinding for, some type of currency so that you can buy the sword to beat the dragon. You're literally just trying to level up your rank in society.
It's when your armor begins
That's
as
all it
plain
is.
clothes. That's when you're in the citizenry.
Oh, I love it. Okay, well, there we have our first impression. So here's what I'm going to have you do. You guys know the deal. Grab your writing utensils, grab your writing surfaces, prepare to write down your final thoughts. And while you're doing that, we're going to go over to Sam Proof and see what the Word Herb had to say, because maybe they can sway the panel one way or another.
All right, and thanks for the shout out for kittens. Yeah. That was the one that stood out to me, but let's see what stands out to our illustrious word herd. Soda Reap says county feels like an upgrade because letters, right, it is longer than count by
It's got
one.
a Y on it.
Yeah, and why not? Doge the Count, who clearly knows a little something about count, says Scar, since there's something less over there, no regeneration, sure. Yeah, you lost that ability to fix that scar. That's a definite demotion. Hund Proof, this is staplers, but we're going to say staplered, which is even worse of a demotion. But this avatar clearly counts for points. And Mogwai Shadow joining us late says, love Phil, Jordan, and Sam being the panelists lately. And yeah, congrats on being our Wizards pick this week. And one more in here from Mogwai. I like stable Dracula. It is a demolition like go shovel shit, you former badass. Yeah, stable is definitely the 9 to 5 demotion.
Get down a peg.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
All right, let's see if we can come to a stable consensus. Back at you.
Absolutely loving it. Well, okay, let's see where Dracula got demoted to, and see what our final impressions are. Jordan Palmerville, let's start with you.
I was swayed a bit by Phil's reasoning, and while I think this is a demotion at work, it's a promotion at home to be a kitten Dracula.
Oh, hey now.
Because you might not be the big shot at work anymore, but hey, kitten Dracula, come here. Let's cuddle.
That's it. So that is a position of in the Jordan Palmerville home. I'm seeing the kitten is the position of power, and I'm here for it.
Something like that. I think what happened to just being hot?
That's you
kitten
know what?
Dracula, super hot.
Nothing more domineering and hot than going in for a cuddle on an October's night. So yes, Kitten Dracula is what we're getting from you. Sam Kimbrell, where did you land on this?
I actually was swayed by Jordan, and I went with County Dracula. There we go, County Dracula. Honestly, going to the county hospital is not, ideal. I, personally feel that's not the best situation for one. And I feel like becoming County Dracula really means you're dealing with a clientele that might not be appreciative of your blood sucking.
You know what?
End of state.
County, when you put county in front, county courthouse, county registrar's
County
office,
jail.
Yeah. No, I'm seeing your logic there. Following it, Phil Ranter. We've got two different people that were swayed. Where did you land?
I'm sorry, I was swayed too, but I was swayed by the word herd. I thought that the lack of regeneration was something I did not consider. I feel like a demoted Dracula is one that would have a scar, and that's the unbranded boy wizard. Very sad because he's the unbranded boy wizard Dracula with the scar on his forehead like Harry Potter.
Okay.
So yes, I think that is the ultimate demotion, is not having the powers of regeneration.
Oh, okay. Well, you all make solid points, and you are all wrong because we have not come to a consensus. So here's what's going to happen. You are going to come to a consensus now, like the wonderful, sensible people you are. I'm putting 60 seconds. Go.
Okay.
Okay.
So I'm gonna argue for County real quick. Okay. What if he's got a Southern accent now and he's like, County Dracula? Slow down there. I'm just a simple County Dracula.
Hot night out tonight, isn't it? Yeah.
So how about that?
Southern. I like County, but I want to argue, because I'm willing to switch, but I want to argue Kitten really quickly. The reason why I want to argue Kitten is because, first of all, it was one of my first thoughts, and second of all, it still feels like more of a demotion than even like a county clerk. Right? Like, what's lower than a clerk is the clerk's pet that he like forces to like poop in a box, right? Or she could force to poop in a box. So I think that I would love to. I of course would love Scar, but I'm fine with Kitten too.
Okay. Now, Sam, you had County. Jordan, you were already leading toward Kitten. So, Sam, what say you?
I think I got Jordan, right? I got Jordan to go County, right?
Oh, so I have to change. I mean,
yeah, why do I have to? Well, this is the second week in a row where, like, Sam, argue for someone else. No, fuck that. Phil Ranta has to justify his answer to Jordan and I, or it's County. I'm calling it.
He's tucking in his shirt. He's pulling his belt up. He's tucking in his Dracula shirt, and he's the County Dracula.
Now, what now? I say, don't you look at
nice. County Dracula.
All right, if you're going to be a Judge Dracula, I think I could go with County if you don't right there.
Oh, it's a funny bit. We have a whole new bit.
Exactly.
Fine, we're going to County.
I do declare that we have a winner. County Dracula it is. How do you like that? So congratulations to Meta CFO. Oh my goodness, Meta CFO.
Wow. The Chief Financial Officer, the ultimate promotion.
My goodness. Sweet
now, that's
tea cat on a hot tin roof, County Dracula.
The kind of name you could sink your teeth into.
Mint julep.
So you will be receiving an official, unofficial Own Every Word NFT, and congratulations on your Spooky Pets NFT that you will be receiving as well, because that's how it's going down this October. Woo! Well, now that everyone's loose and that we have demoted Dracula down to the place that which he deserves to be, let's meet our panelists, everybody. So first up, this is the man with a plan. This is the editor-in-chief. This is the guy with the post-it notes himself, Jordan Palmerville. How you doing?
I'm hanging in there. We're really busy at OEW global headquarters. We're making the words. We're getting them out there. We're getting the voiceover. It's a lot of late nights.
I'm with you. No, I understand that, and I commend you on just your color coding, really.
Yeah,
and that definitely, incest is the only word that's crossed out, because we don't do that.
Yeah, it was too gross. It was
that's
too
not
gross.
Going down. Yeah, that's not going down here. So
it caused an HR meeting, you see.
That has been postponed. So we'll circle back. We'll circle back to it. Next up, our guest, very funny person, very funny producer, and a man who will stick to his guns. Known for his catchphrase, "Fuck that," Sam Kimbrell, everybody.
Hey, everybody! Fuck that!
Yeah, we said it. Oh.
Fuck that! It's a pleasure to be here, Matt. And I can assure you that incest will be coming to another round soon, hopefully, or another drop soon. So it's we're working on it. We got to go through our lawyers. It's just a tough situation. We want incest. We're pro incest here at Own Every Word.
Absolutely. Well, it's
I don't know if I want
love.
to say that. Can we?
Oh,
We're not
love.
live, right? We can go back.
Yeah, we're not
No,
live.
it's already cut. No one even heard it. Last but not least, it's the man, it's the myth himself. It is the producer extraordinaire, the golden voice, Phil Ranta.
I'm a myth. I'm not real. Ah,
I'm sorry.
no, in
I'm sorry you had to
fairness,
find out this way.
This is how I find out that I'm an illusion. A county was the most clever play on words. I got to give it to Meta CFO for that. But thank you for having me. Jordan's working those late nights so that I can get a full 9 hours, baby. So thank you all. Appreciate it.
That is respect, brother. That is respect right there. You didn't say what you were doing the 9 hours. I mean, we were led to assume that it was
Mostly
sleep, but-
screaming, clawing at my face, fetal
Yes.
position, vomit. You know, it's spooky season.
That's sure.
Well, yeah.
Exactly. We're a change.
yeah.
We're a change.
Right.
Yes. Well, glad to have you all here. Glad to be in your midst. Why don't we move on and see what the spooky wordsmiths came up with for round 2? Or we could just sit here and hang out. You know what I mean? Oh, here we go back to it. Okay. Werewolves transform during a full moon, where penguins transform when they blank. Let's see what the word hurt submitted. Werewolves transform during a full moon, where penguins transform when they tinkle. Transform when they skateboard, when they bulk, when they limit, when they work out, when they crowd, when they seashells, when they sleeve, when they healthy, when they igloo. Word heard. You're giving it to me. Sometimes you jump a little bit out of grammatical correctness, but that is for our panelists to deliberate here. And with that, Phil Ranta, what jumps out at you first?
You know, a lot of them jump out at me, but I have to say, I am somebody who watches things like March of the Penguins. I feel like I know a fair amount about penguins. They actually build out a nest with small rocks and shells. So seashells, although spelled weird, I could see when they see shells, they might transform as that turns them into sexual dynamos. I do understand igloo. I imagine when they igloo, I assume that is the verb form of going into an igloo, so that it's kind of like Superman going into a phone booth and transforming. But ultimately, I think that the obvious one, because we're such fans of poo-poo and pee-pee, is of course tinkle, because when that happens, don't we all transform a little bit after we tinkle? Makes me a better person.
That is a good point. So much to be said about transformation, and I'm going to consider igloo as a verb now, and somehow try to work that into my everyday life.
Wise. Go igloo yourself.
Yes. I'll be back. Just got to igloo real quick. Jordan Palmaville, I'm going to igloo over to you and see what is your first impressions here.
You know, first impression was skateboard. Because, I mean, when you're a regular penguin, you're a regular penguin. When you're a penguin on a skateboard, you're a cool dude, right? Backwards hat, sunglasses, running out the door with a Pop-Tart. What's this guy doing? He's transformed entirely from a regular penguin to a cool penguin.
You know what? Much like me, you sound like someone who was raised on the commercials of the 90s, and I see that picture very clearly.
Also work out, because we can all transform ourselves and make ourselves better through physical fitness.
Huh. Okay, yeah. As devil's advocate, is the were version of an animal the better version of itself? Put that in your pipe and smoke it. All right, yeah. And while I leave you with that, I'm going to go to Sam Kimbrell and see what he ever jumped out at him first.
We have some stuff to talk about in therapy this week, Matt, about our transformations, and that the more aggressive version of ourselves actually is the better version of ourselves. I think that's something we need to discuss. I also want to discuss the fact that there are a lot of Own Every Word card holders that clearly love to work out, that clearly are bulking, working out, putting the work in at the gym, not just on arms, not just on chest, but on legs as well, even if they're penguins. So what stuck out to me most was bulk and work out, because I love to bulk and work out myself, as you can tell. But I think I have to kind of agree with Jordan here that a skateboarding penguin is pretty cool.
And also, you know, from the 90s, it's like, yeah, the skateboard can make you cool. it could also make you one of those dangerous kids. All right. They were outlawing skateboarding in a lot of counties across America. All right. Because of the skateboard menace that was happening. I have just aged myself. And while I'm doing that, you guys take out some writing utensils and some writing surfaces. Begin to write down your final answers because we are going to Sam, Proof, and the Word Herd to see what they have to say.
I was one of those skateboard menaces. The chat seems maybe decided. Soda Reap says Tinkle. Funyun says Tinkle. Hang on. Moonraven said penguin crowds are frightening. Fair. It's just a lot coming right at you. Callie Mullally says, yeah, Tinkle's pretty funny. Mogwai Shadow, Igloo or Tinkle. That would be a lot of transforming every time they pee. Interesting. No end on that. Weird. Hun Proof says, how do they stand up when they fall? So they must work out. Lols. Doja Cat says, transform your home penguin style. I picked this one because it's the only one with the penguin emote. Know how to save on your energy bill this winter? Crowd it is, like sardines. So let's see if we can't crowd together our consensus, like sardines, I guess. All right, into you.
This is interesting. So the Word Herd is definitely going one way. Let's see if they or anyone else amongst our illustrious panel has swayed anyone. Phil Ranta, I'm going to you first. So what did you decide on? What are you writing down on that paper of yours?
This wasn't an easy one because, yeah, it seems like a lot of people were leaning towards Tinkle, and I was leaning towards Tinkle. But then I was thinking about Teen Wolf. And a lot of people were talking about, the bulking, working out, making a better version of ourselves. I do think that a wear version is kind of like the more like instinctual version of you, right? So like in the same way that like Teen Wolf was like the ultimate version of their id, I feel like a wear penguin would be the same. Penguins are known as a little weak. So I think that the aware penguin would turn into a penguin when they work out. That's an unbranded wizard boy as a penguin who's got a penguin body and he's working out there.
Get you? I get you.
Got the scar.
All right. No, sound logic, can't argue with that. Jordan, what say you?
Phil, you had me on Teen Wolf. We're talking car surfing. What is car surfing but a more dangerous version of skateboarding? Okay, and as Matt pointed out, sometimes skateboarding kids, they're latchkey kids. They play with matches, so they're the dangerous. This is a dangerous penguin.
Oh man, yes, score one for the Reaganomics born latchkey kids. This is the show, ladies and gentlemen, and I am loving it. You are seeing all of our angst come out from the era that once was, and we're going to put it into this penguin, I tell you. So Sam Kimbrell, what did you land on?
Well, Matt, I realized that I love urine, so I chose Tinkle. Because I know what this show wants. It wants some poo-poo and it wants some pee-pee. And I delivered on at least some pee-pee and maybe some poo-poo. You don't know. I went with Tinkle.
Okay, so once again, panelists, just wrong answers all the way through because they are not a consensus. So let's turn this into the right. Let's, let me use a Halloween themed thing. Let's let the right one in and come to a consensus. I think some of you are already on the precipice, so go.
I agree with Callie Malley. I think that I could go skateboard because of the Teen Wolf argument. So I'm willing to go over there. I'm just not buying Tinkle for this one because of a where penguin transform every time they tinkle. That's just too many transformations. How many times is this thing going to... Skateboarding's a special occasion. Working out's a special occasion. Tinkling, you transform like 20 times a day.
And in the middle of the night when you wake up.
Yeah. Oh,
yeah. Guys. I've already pooped my pants. So with that being said, I've shot my shot. I've shooted my shot, and I lost. And so I'm willing to accept that and choose skateboard.
Well, there you go. Oh, my goodness.
Wise.
He is not throwing away his shot. And skateboard is what we have as our winner, transforming that were penguin. Skateboard is our winner. So congratulations to RM Panda. RM Panda, you are the winner of our unofficial NFT prize. And because that's how we're doing it this month, you will also be receiving a Spooky Pets NFT. So congratulations to you. Woo, we are moving and we are grooving. And now we are on to round 3. So let's see what the Ghostwriters came up with for round 3. Don't eat candy from that house. They hide blank in their apples. Let's see what the word herd came up with. Don't eat candy from that house. They hide relatives in their apples. They hide finger food in their apples. Hot dogs in their apples. Corn on the cob in their apples. Fireworks in their apples. Swig in their apples. Nutrition in their apples. Kilo in their apples.
Wow.
Water in their apples. And books in their apples. Woo, let me tell you something, word her. You reel me in and then you lose me and then you reel me in again. I am here for every single one of your ups and downs. I love this. Panelists, I can't wait to hear what you think about this. So this time I'm going to start with you, Sam Kimbrell. What jumps out at you?
All of these things inside of an apple are great. None of these are bad. You should eat these apples. I mean, a kilo of cocaine in an apple, that is a good Halloween, right? And like fireworks, that's cool because you get to blow your mouth off. But relatives, I think, is probably the worst, right? Because we all hate our relatives and wish they never spoke to us ever again. So I really, really think relatives is the answer here.
Okay, all right. We're gonna hold your hand through this, right? Because
it's a therapy episode. We're gonna do some therapy today.
You've got a pants full of poop and hating your relatives, and we're here for you. This is a safe space. So I'm gonna jump on over to Phil Ranta and see what are your first impressions here.
I agree. I would not eat candy from a house if they hid their relatives in an apple. It's very Sweeney Todd. I don't think that it's I would stay away from that home. The other ones I probably wouldn't stay away as much. Fireworks, though, I disagree with Sam. I think it would be bad to blow your mouth out, so I think that would also be one that I would want to stay away from. But ultimately, like I grew up in a rural area, and we always had the religious households that you'd go to the door and they would give you like little Bible pamphlets instead to like make you feel guilty about trick-or-treating. Wow. So seeing the books in their apples, I imagine biting into one and being like, the Book of John. I think that's the most traumatizing to me.
Absolutely. That is some next level guilting right there.
Right.
I gotta, that's a tip of the cap to that one. Jordan Palmerville, what you got?
I mean, there's a lot to choose from here. Obviously, finger food, because the core makes a great snack. Hot dogs, I feel like that'd be kind of weird with the sweet and the hot dog. Water, because don't hide the hydration. Be upfront about it. That's what's in an apple, baby. Same for nutrition. What are you hiding from? But I'm leaning fireworks because, well, also kilo, because you'd bite in, your mouth would go numb. That'd be fun. Yeah. But fireworks, because maybe you could bite in and then run away and then it would shoot off. You know, maybe you could still enjoy the firework and not blow your face off.
Oh, okay. A risk taker, if I ever heard one. Yes. So wonderful first impressions. Let's get out those writing utensils, see what you can land on. And we're going to go to Sam Proof and the Word Herd and see what they have to say. This is a head scratcher.
All right. Let's take a look. Moonraven says, good Lord, not nutrition. How dastardly, I know. Soda Reap says, kilo of what? I mean,
whatever you want. What do you need?
we know. Funyun, yeah, you don't want nutrients. Fuck that.
Hey, it's a Sam Kimbrell.
Hey, join the Sam Club. Hunproof says kilo. Moonraven, kilo. An apple a day keeps your dealer away. And then quickly about face to hot dogs. There you go. So Hunproof, all of the things. Just everything's good. Mogwai Shadow, this is fireworks. Definitely number 2. Under, of course, the kilo. Not biased, though. Are these your words? One of them, at least. And Reno Ecap circles us back around to nutrition. Who needs it? All we need, Reno, is a consensus. All right, back to you.
Oh yeah, and I love that it's, if the Word Herd isn't united on anything in this, it's that no nutrition. Nobody
Yeah.
wants nutrition in their apples. It's got to be full of caramel and chocolate, or fuck that. So, Sam, speaking of fuck that, Sam Kimbrell, what do you have written down?
Sadly, I was swayed by Phil Ranta. I chose books. I don't want no religion in my apples. I don't care if that story about that Adam and Eve and that apple nonsense. I want a good old American apple. I don't need no damn books.
That's
Fuck that.
Hey, there it is.
I think you literally just did the opening monologue for Johnny Appleseed. And I really am here for it. We're learning here today, history, people. So books coming from Sam Kimbrell. Let's go over to Phil Ranta and see, where did you land?
You know, I was not swayed, but a couple people in the word herd agreed with me. I think the obvious answer, it being spooky season, the one reason why I would not eat candy from the house is if they had hid their relatives inside the apple. That's the unbranded boy wizard. Very sad because he's now hidden in an apple. He's got a bite taken out of his face. That would be miserable. What a gross house.
Absolutely. Very Texas Chainsaw Massacre vibes. And with that, Jordan Palmerville, where did you land?
We're all over the board tonight, guys. I was completely won over by the group. I'm like all about nutrition because, yeah, you know what? Put some peanut butter in that apple. Put some caramel in that apple. So nutrition, let's do it. Come on. The word herd says nutrition is bad and candy good.
You know, normally the panel finds a symbiosis. They find a string where they all line up, and it's like watching birds take flight, or that scene that doesn't matter. Anyway, so what I'm going to say is come to a consensus because everybody has a different answer. Go.
I think by choosing relatives, personally, it's going back to my first choice, which makes me right, which I like the best. So I'm going to go back to relatives. Relatives, final answer.
Oh.
I'm pretty set on relatives too. I think that it's spooky season. If it's don't eat candy from that house, and I feel like sometimes the argument went into like that would be the best thing to have in the apple. The worst thing objectively would be human flesh, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I think, you know what? I sense that Sam really needs a win today.
Yeah. He's pretty depressed.
And so I think I'm willing to, and also, I mean, what are your relatives but full of moral fiber, which is also nutrition?
Hey.
Relatives.
That's one to grow on. So relatives is our winner. They hide the relatives. So congratulations to Striker 1564. Striker 1564. It sounds really fun to say because now I feel like a pilot. You are our winner. You will be receiving your unofficial NFT prize from Own Every Word. And, of course, congratulations on your Spooky Pets NFT that you will be receiving as well. Take your twofer and do good things with it, because now we are on to round 4. This is the twofer round, which means you'll need 2 cards to submit. So let's take a look at what the Frightening Freelancers came up with for round 4. My parents won't let me wear my costume. I dressed up as a blank, but a little more blank. Let's see what the word herd submitted. My parents won't let me wear my costume. I dressed up as a hammock, but a little more morale. I dressed up as a smell, but a little more quantity. Dressed up as a square, but a little more drunkard. As a worm, but a little more Eosin. As a mullions, but a little more watersheds. As a light show, but a little more glare. As a beach cruiser, but a little more punch. As a machines, but a little more toffee. As a wild pig, but a little more macho. And as a finale, but a little more Lent. Okay. Let me tell you something, word herd. I love everything that you do. I do. This is true. And I'm judging right now. I am absolutely judging. And so with that, let's go to the judges themselves, the panel, and see what first impressions. Jordan, you've got that big bright board behind you. What is jumping out at you first?
I mean, smell and quantity, because it makes me, because when you dress up as like an abstract noun, how do you make that work? And I'm thinking visual stink lines radiating off of you. Also, a square, so you dress up like a nerd who's just totally shit-faced at prom. First time he gets drunk or makes an ass of himself.
I love you, Shelley.
And then I went worms and eosin. Eosin's a red dye. So this is just a red worm. Pass. Not a good answer.
Exposed. You find yourself exposed. Phil Ranter, what jumps out at you?
One of the greatest services that Own Every Word the project ever did is got everybody to know what eosin is, because it has been submitted so many times. It's a red fluorescent dye.
Yep.
I've got to say, I think there's two here that really stand out. First of all, light show, but a little more glare. It fits really nicely. I don't know if my parents would let me go out with it, except that they thought that I would like blind traffic and get in that horrific car accident, so that someone could be like, they died 30 years ago today on this very Halloween night. He dressed up like a light show with a little more glare. I kind of like that horror show. But really, I think the obvious answer is Wild Pig, but a little more macho. I imagine a shirtless, greased up Wild Pig wearing just little tiny pig shorts with a little tiny squiggly tail, and parents are like, go put some clothes on. And I'm like, I can go wherever I want to, Mom. And that's that.
Yes, because you have to embody the full character of it too.
Exactly.
It's funny because light show and glare also stuck out to me because it almost sounds like a figure of speech.
Right.
It's like, did you a little bit more light show with a little
That
more
guy's
glare?
girlfriend is a total light show, but with a little more glare.
You know what I'm
A lot
saying.
more glare.
You know what I'm saying. Oh, we're using that. So, Sam Kimbrell.
I said it earlier, and I'll say it again. Toffee is straight ass, bro. No way I'm letting my kid leave the house with a little more toffee. It's embarrassing. Clearly the answer here is machines and toffee.
That's right. No toffee in the Kimbrell household. Know this. With all of this swirling around in your heads, let's get to writing some stuff down, panelists, and let's go check in with Sam Proof and see what the word herd can put in your head also.
All right, starting things off, Yo-Yo Johnson says, LOL, square and drunkard. I have that problem too. I mean, don't we all? That's why we meet every Wednesday, isn't it? I thought that was a thing. Moonraven says, being a square drunk is not a costume for me. This is, again, welcome to the club. Callie Mullally says, well, wild pig is funny. It's a funny word, right? Wild pig, it's a funny word. FN News says, someone draw a drunk square. This is very demanding. Get on it. Somebody draw that. Also, possibly with a cute face. Hund Proof says, square drunkard. I feel like the chat has decided. Nothing smart about being a drunk smartass. I have to rethink a lot of choices now. Okay. Mogwai Shadow said, wild pig and macho is smooth, but square drunkard is more me. A raver light show if you're on acid. And finally, Doge the Count wraps it up with, I can imagine sexy bacon from a free-range wild pig, and I can imagine a sexy consensus from a free-range panelist group. Back to y'all.
Hey now, so it looks like the word herd definitely is leaning towards places that they're leaning towards. Again, probably a lot of people raised in the 80s movies where they saw like the square kid goes, has a couple of drinks, and all of a sudden he's cool at the party. Unless it was an after-school special, and then he died. So let's see where we landed with your illustrious answers. Jordan Palmerville, start us off.
I'll tell you what, I liked where Phil's head was at first with light show and glare, because also I imagine what's causing the glare? A lot of skin. Dressing up like a little slutty little light show.
Hey now.
Yeah, look at
Blur that out. Blur it out.
Yeah, ooh, a lot of glare. What's that glare bouncing off of? Ooh. You can dress up like a light show with full costume or just this little skimpy thing.
I love the parenthetical emphasis that you put on this, as if the tone didn't just get it enough. You were like, no, slutty.
Yeah. We want to be, we got to be concrete.
Words mean things. Phil Ranta, what did you land on?
I imagine this is more of a guy costume, and guys can be sluts too. I'm sticking to my guns on, I think that the parents wouldn't let them go out if they're wild pig, but a little more macho.
Oh,
Right?
is
There's
he?
a vampire original boy wizard holding an apple with big old muscles. All over
Oh,
the
an
body.
apple. I thought he was flipping birds. I was like, he was going straight macho
Well,
thug
that's
style.
Sam Kimbrell saying, fuck that. It's what?
I think we found the new Halloween costume that's coming out there. Sam Kimbrell. Just a shirt that says fuck that. So, Sam Kimbrell, what, speaking of the man himself, where did you land?
Sadly, I was swayed by my fellow panelists, which I hate admitting. I actually am legitimately worried that maybe my kid is going out with a little bit too much skin showing, and the fellows around our fictional 80s, 90s town are kind of remarking and saying, what a light show, what a glare, what a slut.
Wow.
Whoa.
Wow.
Okay.
And I don't like that. And you know what? Slut shaming is wrong, word heard. So that's what I chose.
Okay. Slut shaming is wrong. What better way to do that than to do a little bit of it
Slut
yourself? Because
shaming. Fuck that.
Exactly. So now we have a 2-on-1. We have two panelists who have come to the same answer and one who has not. Can Phil Ranta be swayed? We're going to find out and go.
I'm going to make this super, super easy. That was my second choice anyway. So I do want to say, in fairness, that I still believe that this is a gendered answer. And if everybody thought the same as men for Macho Wild Pigs not getting to get let out as women, who might be a little bit of a light show with a little too much glare, in a fair America,
Tell
with
'em.
true equality,
Tell
then
'em.
Wild Pig and Macho would have had more of a shot. On the other hand, everybody, your ladies in your life are total light shows with a little too much glare. Go home and hug your loved ones.
No. Boom. Just taking it home to you right there, hitting you with a face full of shame, because if Phil Ranter's going down, he's going down swinging, and I am here for it. So congratulations to Funyun327. Light Show and Glare are in
Hell yeah.
Funyun 327. You brought out some emotion. You brought out some imagery, and thank you for it. We are all changed. But your official, unofficial NFT will be coming to you, along with another congratulations because of your Super Pets NFT that will be arriving as well. Right?
God,
right,
I love Funyuns.
Yeah, Funyuns are great.
It's a
So
great,
good.
also, it is a great snack to have on Halloween, because there's just something about like the Octoberness and the whole, like, this is chip onions. It's the kind of thing you eat when you're passing out candy.
And the Funyuns themselves are actually saying, ooh.
Boom, right? They're right there. I'm right there with you. And speaking of being right there, we are right there now on our final round. We're going to wrap it up with our golden special edition round. This one is for the gold and special edition cards only. So let's take a look at what these hatchet persons came up with for round 5. I got buried alive. At least I have blank to keep me entertained.
Uh-oh.
Let's see what the word herd came up
Oh,
with.
God.
I got buried alive. At least I have hands
Come on.
to keep
Take
me
a knee.
Yeah.
Come on,
Jesus.
hands.
Oh my
Jesus.
goodness.
Take a knee.
Easily.
Yeah.
My
Go off the
goodness.
clock.
Whoever
We're
sipping
gonna-
in
Come on,
hands
guys.
just freaking crushed it on the first one.
Hands.
I mean, boom. All right. We have more of these.
Okay.
So I have sweaty to keep me entertained. I have boardwalk to keep me entertained. I have ribs to keep me entertained. I have suds to keep me entertained. Hatchet to keep me entertained. Fifth to keep me entertained. Fingernails to keep me entertained. Insects to being entertained. Moolah to keep me entertained. Word heard, this is gold and special edition. That means something. And with that, let's go to the panelists. Let's go to the men, to the people, to the non-gender specific persons that make this happen, and see what they have to say. So, Phil Ranta, out the gate. I have an idea of your first impressions, but let's hear it.
I mean, like that was like a legitimate. When I saw hands as the first one, made me like guffaw. Because it's like, what do you have to keep you entertained? Hey, I know what I can do with these. Like, I just imagine somebody in a horrific situation being like, finally some time to myself. That makes me laugh. I have to say, though, I jumped in a little fast because there's other funny imagery in here. I imagine somebody who's like a big fan of like those axe throwing bars, who's like, I'm buried alive, this thing on my hatchet, and doing like the 1-inch punch, but like aiming with the hatchet, trying to throw it against the thing. I also like the kind of like Moana style Pixar-ness of, at least I have my friends, the insects, to keep me entertained. Isn't that right, Auntie the ant and Grass? And they're like, let me out too. And fingernails, of course, because like when someone gets buried alive, the way you know in horror movies is when they lift them out of the thing, you see the scratches on the casket. So that's how they're staying entertained. That's more like the real life one, you know?
Yeah. Absolutely see that. Can agree with a lot of that. Jordan Palmerville, what jumps out at you?
I mean, again, I don't think we should overthink this too much, guys. I think hands is very strong. However, I want to point out suds and fifth. So, you have a few brews to keep you entertained, or maybe a nice bottle of whiskey to keep you entertained. And I like the idea with hatchet that it's not a method of escape, Phil. It's to keep them entertained.
Of course.
So it's like the ants, except you're singing with your friend the hatchet. Like, ho ho!
I do like the thing of this prompt. You did point out a great thing, Jordan. It's about entertainment, because if you find yourself buried alive, what you think is like, I don't want to be bored.
Right. Yeah. Well, I mean, it's the new Hey, 5 albums on a desert island. It's 5 albums if you're buried alive.
All right, you have 23 minutes left of oxygen. What are you listening to?
That'll actually get the party conversations going. And speaking of parties, Sam Kimbrell,
exactly.
You're a party
exactly.
unto yourself.
Speaking of albums, Matt Harris, if I'm down there, I of course want to be listening to the Drifters singing Boardwalk. I mean, under the boardwalk, we'll be having some fun under the boardwalk. I'm not going to be jerking off in the dirt. I already do that when above the ground. I'm going for Boardwalk by the Drifters.
I got it. You know what? It's a good one. I mean, it's when I first saw Boardwalk, it made me think of the Steve Buscemi HBO series.
Yeah, there you go.
But that's only if you're stream. There's a whole lot of accoutrement that's dealt with that, because also this is like buried alive. We're assuming it's in a coffin. I don't know. I'm just throwing stuff out there right now, but we have 3 different first impressions. We have a lot that are going on here. So let's get to writing. Let's get to drawing. Let's get to expressing ourselves on paper while we go one final time to Sam Proof and the Word Herd and see what they have to say.
All right. Starting us off, Soda Reap says hands is almost too easy.
Right?
Moonraven says you can play your ribs like a xylophone with your hands. Adam says hands. Funyun says hands. We all know where our minds went on that one.
Gloves?
Yep. Doge the Count says moolah. Switching it up here. It's warming your life and your afterlife, baby. All right. And that's a very compelling emote. And then Mogwai Shadow says hands so I can jack off. Thanks for saying. I couldn't figure that out. Now
there it is. Mogwai.
Now it makes sense.
That's what it was.
Jacking them off.
I see.
Yeah. Right across the
Own Every Word, the Jack Off Network.
Moonraven says hands. Take your time, rescuers. Hello, 911. Yes, I'm dying, but it's okay. I can entertain myself. Oh, baby. Callie Mullally wrapping it up with hands down. Hands is the best one. That was also the best comment. Thank you, Callie. That's like you're taking my job away from me, so I guess I'll just throw back to the panelists to do their thing.
Oh, let's give the man a hand, everybody. He's working hard out there. So, listen, the Word Herd has to say what they have to say, but it really only comes down to our panelists here, the illustrious panelists, as I like to call you. So, Phil Ranta, where did you land?
Is there any question? The Word Herd agrees. We all kind of agree, except for Sam and his weird Drifters comment. It's gotta be hands, baby. That's what's keeping me entertained when I'm about to lose breath and die. Remove me from this mortal coil happy.
Has the Dracula Harry Potter penguin, has he now turned into a hand?
Oh yeah, he's
Is
a
that
hand
what
holding an
happened?
apple, but he's gonna have to drop that apple because that's not in that coffin.
Ah,
Just me
well.
and my hands.
Oh, Jordan.
Oh boy.
Let it sing. Jordan
It's hands.
What
Palmerville.
happened?
There
What
we
happened?
go.
Yeah, there you go.
Hands
I
times
did.
two.
Hand
Hands
times two.
Right.
Two of those.
You got
Yep.
two.
You gotta have the stranger and the primary player. Yeah.
Listen, if I truly want to be entertained, Matt,
Mhm.
I'm not going to use my own hands. I'm honestly going to watch videos featuring Mr. Hands, but nonetheless, I chose hands.
Well, there you go.
Ending on a consensus.
It only took until the final round. We got a consensus right off the bat. Congratulations to, let me see if I'm saying this right. Generic name.
Thank you, generic name.
Generic name. Yes,
big
as
hand.
Moonraven says, a big hand, a generic name. And I'm going to give you another hand, and I'm going to mash those two together, and I'm going to congratulate you because you will be receiving an official, unofficial Own Every Word NFT, and you will be receiving a spooky pets, which is also special, NFT as well. So congratulations 2 times for you. And ladies and ghouls, I've been watching Tales from the Crypt. That's our show. So thank you so much for watching Own Every Word, the game show. But before we go, before we shuffle off into that mortal coil, Phil Ranter, where can the people find you?
You can find me at owneveryword.com or at owneveryword or owneveryword on Discord or at Phil Rant on LinkedIn.
And Sam Kimbrell, where can we find you?
They can find me at Sam Kimbrell on Twitter or in their nightmares.
Fuck that.
And
Fuck that.
Jordan Palmerville. Fuck that. Jordan Palmerville, where can we find you?
You can find me at the Global Office. Sometimes I join Sam in
Global?
people's nightmares if I get a spare moment.
Oh, well, so glad to be here with you tonight. Thank you all for watching. I'm Matt Harris. Make sure you find us on crypto.com/NFT to follow all of our drops. And if you want to play along next time, go to owneveryword.com to play along. Join us again every Wednesday, 10:30 Eastern, 7:30 Pacific. Good night, everybody. Use those hands wisely.